You have a job, and your job is to write for the Dallas Mavericks or write about the Dallas Mavericks. They're currently 12-21. Pretty sure they didn't see themselves being 12-21. However, they are 2 games out to play in, so the season is not lost by any means. Simplify this for me. Talk to me like I'm a third grader. What's going on with the Mavericks right now? Why is their record 12-21?
Yes. One, the clearly, Luka Doncic played his last game for the Dallas Mavericks actually on Christmas Day 2024, that would be. That was the last time he literally played a game for the Mavericks. So we've officially passed the year mark since he's played a game. Now, he got traded later, but he was hurt when he was traded. And clearly, he leads the league in points right now. And he's also getting, I think, about 8 boards, I think about 8 assists or more. And that type of production is really, really hard to replace. But in the guy that they traded for him, Anthony Davis, has been hurt for his majority of time in Dallas. I actually was at his first ever game in Dallas, which was essentially the greatest half a Maverick has ever played. And he gets hurt at the end of I think it either was at the end of the second quarter or the beginning of the third quarter, and then missed 6+ weeks with an injury, with an abductor injury. Funny enough, he actually just re-injured an abductor recently on Christmas Day, which again the world sadly has to see this again. Anthony Davis this season has played in I think he played in 16, missed 17. I think that's the number. It's either that or it's the opposite. He has to play basketball. When he plays, they're about a 500 team, a little bit better than that. When he doesn't play, they're 4-13, essentially the worst team in the NBA. So they need Anthony Davis, but right now they're just at a weird time. Like Cooper Flag is either, if he's not the rookie of the year, the Colin Knippel is probably second. Like they're going basically, I guess bar for bar with just one of the greatest rookie of the year races really of the last 5 years or so probably. So Cooper Flag's amazing, and he'll be good. He just turned 19 on December 21st, so he's still young and he's doing well. But there's a bunch. The roster was made to win with Luka Doncic, not Anthony Davis. Like Klay Thompson is at this point not a shooting guard. He's too slow. He's probably a small forward, maybe even a power forward. He's still a good shooter, but he has no elite playmaker to pass him the ball. So it's kind of like it doesn't really fit his skill set at this point in his career. So he's making I think he's making 15 this year, 17 next year. So the Mavericks also are coming into a money problem. They're a first apron team right now, barely below the second apron. Next year, if somehow they made no moves, they'd be in the second apron, which clearly you can't be this far into 500 and be a second apron team. It just would make no sense. So they're also at a money problem. And, just from, I guess sources have said that, Anthony Davis, they are looking to see what they can get for a player like Anthony Davis. It just kind of depends what it's available. I think my coworker Mark Stein reported specifically that the Hawks is a big team that might be looking at Anthony Davis. And he reported, I think, yesterday in his in the Steinline Substack, which y'all should subscribe to. But I think that the Hawks are actually now looking to possibly trade Zachary Reese-Shea, which has kind of been the big storyline. Now, it doesn't mean they'll trade Reese-Shea to the Mavericks, but they're saying they're more open to trading the literal, I think he's a 2024 number 1 pick. Stuff might, start cooking for Dallas at the deadline. There's a lot of, I think Klay Thompson will be really good in a team like the Detroit Pistons. Like come off the bench, young team, just make shots for Kate Cunningham. Like they have Duncan Robinson, you back up Duncan. They just need shooting. And he makes a decent salary, but it's not crazy for a team like Detroit that's young.
Exactly.
So I think it's fit for a couple of these guys.
If you're paying Tobias Harris, you can definitely pay Klay Thompson.
For sure. So Klay can still shoot it, man. So and he can run off screens still to this day.
Oh,
but
for
there's
sure.
no one to pass on the ball. Ryan Nembhard is like the best passer on the team. This is an undrafted free agent rookie. Like the expectation is it's already too high to me for an undrafted free agent 5'11" guard, but I know he's overachieved significantly, but he's not Kate Cunningham, who's just in Dallas, who's 6'6", 6'7", a bucket, I think he's 9 assists a game. Like Kate is different, so if he needs that type of player. So the Mavs are kind of in between two worlds. The problem is also they don't own a pick next year.
Yeah,
that pick has some protections, and that pick is likely going to the Charlotte Hornets. I think it's top 2 protected, so we'd have to get lucky and get a top 2 pick. Also, Kyrie Irving is not back. He tore his ACL. I'd assume February or March or something like that. Kyrie Irving comes back. Every time we've asked, as reporters, Jessica has said there is no timeline. So he's also said there's no setbacks. So also Kyrie Irving is a big deal. I mean, if Kyrie Irving comes back and he's still Kyrie Irving available, even 80%, like that's a big, difference. Him and Flag might be a great duo for the next 2-3 years.
Oh, for sure. I I know you have a job to do, so I'm gonna protect you on that end. I believe the Mavericks have been extremely disappointed with D'Angelo Russell. I think they had the belief that he would come in, he could start, which he isn't doing right now, and at least hold the ship until Kyrie is able to return. Even bring Kyrie along slowly, which I'm sure they're going to do regardless. But even now, he's maybe, if he's playing, is getting 7 minutes a game. I want to focus in on the development of Brandon Williams, though. What can you say to his development?
Yeah, I mean, B. Will has been probably one of the more exciting players on the team. I mean, we kind of said on the podcast early in the season, he snatched D'Lo's chain because I think D'Lo was signed to this 1+1 is equal, which is a player option, which he thought he was going to come here, take a little bit of money, have some protection if things went bad, but really he was planning to decline that player option, hit the market again, get a payday. I don't think a team in the NBA is going to be paying D'Angelo Russell. I mean, he's just been a bad player right now, which I didn't think was going to be the case. I mean, I'm not going to act like I was this huge D'Lo fan or D'Lo guy, but he averaged 18 points before and shot 40% from three. I thought that was like the floor here. The floor has been just a lot lower. But Brandon Williams has been again was another two-way guy that the Mavs found. I think 2024, and he's been kind of a revelation, kind of off the bench. It's just kind of like this quick, fast, downhill guard. Really, B. Will's probably like biggest flaw is probably the shooting hasn't been good. Like he hasn't shot the three ball well. Like of course he's not gonna defend. He's a small guard. They didn't expect him to defend. To me, talking about that is like you kind of that's the expectation is he won't defend well. But he could shoot well last season. So there's just the shooting touch has been off. So if he can get the jump shot back, he can be even more dangerous because he's really fast. And speaking about Kyrie Irving, I mean Kyrie Irving is I don't know if people will call him a mentor, but mentor-esque figure for Brandon Williams. Like he works out with him all the time. He copies a lot of his moves. Is very open about that. A lot of his game is Kyrie-esque. Like Kyrie Irving is like the players like absolutely love him. Here, there's no player that ever talks bad about Kyrie Irving. I'm not sure. He's probably the leader of the team, even though he's not playing. Anthony Davis is a leader, but he's not a vocal player. I think even in LA, he was never like that. He's a lead by example. Kyrie Irving is not as vocal maybe as like a LeBron James, but he's still very vocal, and the players do follow him a lot. Brandon Williams is probably his biggest protege on the team because he has been very vocal about kind of how Kyrie Irving has affected his journey in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie has found a home. I don't think there's another destination for him other than Dallas. I think he's going to finish his career in Dallas. From what I've seen on TV is that, the fans love Kyrie. The players, like you said, love Kyrie. I think he's good. He's found a home, like I said. In this game tonight, going forward, what would you like to see the Mavericks improve upon?
One we kind of touched on a little bit earlier. I think they're one of the. I think at least coming to the last game, they were one of the 5 worst like offensive rebounding teams in the NBA. And while that might not seem like a big deal to some people that are listening, when you're a team that really like doesn't have like all these high level shot creators, you kind of have to steal possessions. One way that again a team like the Rockets, again I keep bringing them up, have done because they at one point they were the number 1 team in offensive rating with really just one shot creator and Kevin Durant on the court essentially, is because they kept stealing possessions. Like Amin Thompson might can't shoot the ball, but he's crashing. Steven Adams is one of the greatest offensive rebounders in NBA history. Goon was offensive rebound. They used to get so many attempts at the basket, so even if they weren't efficient, they got so many attempts. I think if the Mavs were even like a top 10 team in offensive rebound, they could legit be probably a top 15 offense. I think entering this game, they might be last in points per possession. Like they're a really bad offense. Like they're, if not the worst offense in the league, a bottom 5 offense in essentially every category. It really is. That's why I think they gotta start getting some more extra possessions. They don't turn the ball over that much as of the last 2 months, but as of the last 2 weeks, that has increased. And if you're turning the ball over and you don't get offensive rebounds, you're just losing so many possessions that you're not going to be able to win games. And that's why they're kind of on a little cold streak. They've lost 6 straight games on the road and they're on the road tonight again in Portland. It's a 9:30 Central tip, 10:30
Yeah.
Eastern Standard Time tip, a very late game against Portland. I think, yeah, they beat Portland. I think they beat Portland early in the year. So they would have to win those possessions with a team like Portland that's going to, like, Portland was pressing the first quarter in that game.
Yeah. So,
So, that's a team that gets after it.
yep, for sure. I want to close out with a couple of questions here. This is called 3-on-3. These are 3 questions. You give me your top 3 answers. I listen and I do not judge. Give me your top 3 inspirational figures. It could be sports or non-sports.
Yeah, top 3 inspirational. I think I'd say Stephen A. Smith, just because of what he's been able to do and carve out his niche. I wouldn't say he's like my favorite person to watch or even listen to. But I mean, if you're a black man, you're on TV making $20 million, you're just as big as the mouse. I mean, come on. I mean, it's never been really done before. Stuart Scott was before him, but he was more so an anchor. Clearly, we know he was in Sports Center. So I would say him is at least one in the field. I'd probably say my grandfather, just because I feel like just being like professional was something that he kind of always talked about, something he always wanted to implement in me. So he was somebody I think that just always, kind of has inspired me. And lastly, just kind of I'd say I'm just gonna cheat and do 2 people, but I have Nick Wright is one. I think he's personally my favorite person on TV. I talked to one of my Columbia professors. There's a sports reporting class at Columbia, and they bring us back every single year. Either if you're in New York, they bring you in person. If you're not, they bring you on Zoom. So I zoomed in last year, and one of my professors brought up, I remember telling him that one day I was going to debate Nick Wright, and I actually forgot that I said that, and I was like, you know what? I'm still gonna hold myself to that. So I would still say he is that, because he's my favorite person to watch. I get a lot of I watch him, I study him a lot of the different, watch his pod, I watch him on TV. I think that's probably in my opinion, it's the best TV show right now too, like in sports, is with the antics. They bring people out on the stretcher. It's just amazing content. So it just kind of shows you don't have to do certain things to kind of really boost the ratings and kind of the other things like that. So I would have him on. Then one of my mentors, Barry Young, he's at Forbes now. Yeah, he's at Forbes. He's like the lead, one of the lead writers at Forbes. He's had the big Charlemagne the God story. He did a good Megan Thee Stallion feature I thought was really good. He said a bunch of good features, and he started this new thing called Forbes Black, kind of, which has been this big thing, kind of putting up a lot of black entrepreneurs and millionaires, et cetera, et cetera. So he's been just a big kind of inspiration to me in that way. He's been able to. I mean, Forbes is one of the biggest magazines ever. He kind of went there and did his own thing. And that's so rare to do in the field. I know how crazy that is. Even though I knew he was good, I'm even shocked to see how much he's accomplished. And I think he's been there maybe 3-4 years or so.
Yeah. Okay. You were cooking there. I agree with the Nick Wright commentary and the Stephen A. Smith commentary as well. 2 pillars in the industry, but Nick Wright, man, he's just locked in right now. And I'm glad to see. I knew that he would be big. I didn't know he would be this big.
Same.
Yeah. Give me 3 of your favorite NBA players.
Yeah, so I have this is current, I'm assuming, I guess, or all time. Okay. So I mean, LeBron's my favorite player of all time. Technically he's still playing. Luka actually was my second favorite player before I started covering the Mavericks. Sadly he's not here, but that's for another day. And third, I actually had to go SGA. These have really been my 3 favorite players, I would say, for at least 5 years, to be honest. At one point, it was like almost crazy to say SGA was a really good player because he was hurt all the time. And really, I knew him from the fashion aspect. That's how I found out about him about maybe 5 years ago or so. I was like, oh, okay, he kind of got his thing going off the court, and then he started turning up on the court. I'm like, oh, this is my guy. So, and then Luka, I mean, I used to have a podcast called the M&R Show back in the day, and I had a co-host, Malcolm. We would argue Tatum versus Luka like when they were like 20 years old. So those clips are probably somewhere still on the internet. So yeah, I've been a big Luka guy for a long time. Even though lately he's been kind of turning me off with some of the antics, but I'm gonna stay loyal.
Yeah. You got me with SGA and the fashion sense, because I remember you posted a picture not too long ago. You actually had a great trip to New Orleans, and you had on a fit, man. You had a dope fit. So it makes sense that you said Shay.
Appreciate that.
And I guess that's going to make me change my last question. Who are the top 3 dressed players in the NBA to you?
For sure, SGA. I think that's probably an easy one. I actually, to be honest, I think his teammate J Dub it might just be almost as good as SGA. I think he's really good. Who's like another really? There's a couple. I think the sleeper Dwight Powell in the Mavericks. OG Dwight's like one of the oldest players in the league, but Dwight puts it on. Nikhil Alexander Walker, I think it's SGA's cousin.
Shouts
He
out
also
to
dresses nice. So yeah, there's a couple of guys. Trey Mann is an interesting one. He's like a 6'2" guard that like is basically like Allen Iverson cosplay. It feels like at this point, the do rag hanging, the braids, the big jersey. Yeah, I think he's a interesting. And LaMelo's just a weird one. Him and Westbrook have like their own. No one does this besides those two. They have their own thing, so that's kind of dope, I guess.
between Melo and I would say Jordan Clarkson. They're in that same pot.
Yeah, Clarkson can dress too for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're going to end it right there, man. Can you tell the people where they can find you and where they can link up with you?
Yeah, so I'm on every single platform at Ron Knows Sports. And yeah, we can also follow our podcast at DLLS Sports on YouTube. We do a live show. Well, there's a live show on that channel every single day, but for the Mavericks specifically, if you like to watch Maverick stuff, we do 5 days of shows a week. So we do a pre and post game show before and after every single Mavs game, and then we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more shows per week. So I think this week today is Monday, then we'll do another show. I think the Mavs play Thursday, Saturday, so they will do shows those days this week. So yes, y'all can find me, and I appreciate Chris you for allowing me to come on your pod.
Hey man, Ron, I appreciate you, man. It's fitting that I'm ending the year with one of the guys who got me started in this sports content space. So I appreciate you jumping on with me. I appreciate everything you're doing. Black man to black man, I'm proud of you, man. When you dropped the announcement that you were working with DLLS, and I saw you was going to be working with Mark Stein, man, I was just happy. I mean, I can't imagine like coming out of school, getting right to the workforce, and then boom, you're working with a former ESPN columnist. So shouts out to you, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing Ron Knows Sports. And I look forward to seeing you what you do in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. And I look forward to, seeing your platform grow. I think you have a very unique page. I don't think I follow too many other sports pages that kind of do the same thing, which is always good to kind of stand on your own. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of your platform grow as well.
For sure, man. Thank y'all for joining us on more Insight you can trust, because there is more where it came from. And we out. We'll see y'all again.